As the Chicago L rattles through the city's heart, Lisa finds herself wedged between commuters, their faces a blur in the fading light. The wind howls outside, matching the cacophony of voices within. Amidst the chaos, something catches her eye. A shadow that doesn't belong. It's not tethered to any passenger, instead slithering between bodies like a serpent made of darkness. Lisa blinks, convinced her tired eyes are playing tricks. But the shadow persists, growing taller with each passing second. It stretches up the walls of the train car, defying logic and reason. Her heart races as she watches it dance across the ceiling, a sinister ballet performed for an unwilling audience. The train lurches, and Lisa stumbles. In that moment of imbalance, the shadow strikes. It leaps from its perch, enveloping her in an icy embrace. Whispers fill her ears, a chorus of names she's never heard but somehow recognizes. They're the names of the dead, she realizes with growing horror, each one carrying the weight of a life lost. Panic sets in, and Lisa fights against the invisible force. She pushes through the crowd, desperate to escape. As the train screeches to a halt at the next station, she bolts for the doors, not caring where she ends up as long as it's away from that otherworldly presence. The platform is nearly empty, a stark contrast to the packed train she just fled. Lisa leans against a pillar, trying to catch her breath and calm her racing thoughts. She tells herself it was just a hallucination, a product of stress and lack of sleep. But deep down, she knows the truth. Seeking reassurance, Lisa turns to the station mirror, hoping to see her normal reflection staring back. Instead, she's met with a sight that chills her to the bone. Her own shadow is missing, no longer a faithful companion at her feet. It trails behind her like a hungry pet, disconnected yet undeniably hers. Lisa watches in mute horror as her shadow stretches and contorts, taking on a life of its own. It seems to beckon her, calling her back to the darkness of the tunnel. She takes a step back, and the shadow follows, always just out of reach. The sound of an approaching train fills the station, and Lisa is torn between the desire to flee and the morbid curiosity to see what her shadow will do next. As passengers begin to disembark, she notices their shadows behaving normally, oblivious to the supernatural drama unfolding before them. Lisa's shadow grows bolder, reaching out tendrils of darkness towards the unsuspecting commuters. She wants to warn them, to cry out about the danger lurking in their midst, but her voice fails her. All she can do is watch as her shadow dances at the edge of reality, threatening to pull others into its twisted realm. The station empties once more, leaving Lisa alone with her rebellious silhouette. She takes a tentative step towards the exit, and her shadow mimics the movement, but in reverse. It's as if she's looking at a dark mirror of herself, every action reflected, but inverted. Lisa's mind races with possibilities. Is this a curse? A haunting? Or something far more sinister that she can't even begin to comprehend? She remembers the whispered names on the train and wonders if she somehow crossed a boundary between the world of the living and the dead. As she contemplates her next move, Lisa notices other shadows beginning to gather. They seep from the cracks in the walls, pool in the corners of the station, and slide down the stairs like a viscous, inky flood. Each one seems to carry the essence of a lost soul, drawn to her like moths to a flame. The shadows swirl around her feet, playful yet menacing. Lisa feels a pull, an inexorable force drawing her towards the darkest corner of the station. She resists, planting her feet firmly on the ground, but her own shadow betrays her. It wraps around her ankles, tugging with surprising strength. Lisa stumbles, catching herself on a nearby bench. The cold metal beneath her fingers grounds her, reminding her that she's still in the real world. Or at least, what she thought was the real world until moments ago. She closes her eyes, hoping that when she opens them, everything will be back to normal. But when her eyes flutter open, the shadows have only grown stronger. They've taken on more defined shapes now, almost human-like in their appearance. Lisa can make out faces in the darkness, expressions of pain, longing, and something that looks unsettlingly like hunger. A distant rumble signals another approaching train, and Lisa sees it as her chance for escape. She makes a break for the platform edge, her feet pounding against the concrete. But with each step, she feels the shadows gaining on her, their whispers growing louder until they're a deafening roar in her ears. The train bursts into the station, a beacon of light in the encroaching darkness. Lisa lunges for the open doors, feeling the shadows grasping at her clothes, her hair, trying to pull her back. She tumbles into the car, sprawling across the floor as the doors slam shut behind her. Panting, Lisa looks up, expecting to see shocked faces staring down at her. Instead, she finds the car empty, save for a single figure seated at the far end. As her eyes adjust to the dim light, she realizes with a jolt that the passenger has no features. It's a silhouette, a three-dimensional shadow person. The train starts moving, picking up speed as it hurtles through the tunnel. Lisa scrambles to her feet, pressing herself against the doors, as far from the shadow figure as possible. But as she moves, so does it, mirroring her actions with eerie precision. Lisa's mind reels, trying to make sense of what's happening. Is she trapped in some kind of shadow world now? Has she become one of the lost souls she heard whispered about on that first fateful ride? The questions pile up, each more terrifying than the last. The shadow figure stands, its movements fluid and unnatural. It glides towards Lisa, arms outstretched in what could be an embrace or a threat. She searches desperately for a way out, but the train shows no signs of slowing, the tunnel outside a blur of darkness. As the figure draws near, Lisa feels a chill that goes beyond physical cold. It's as if the very essence of her being is being drained away, pulled into the void that stands before her. She closes her eyes, bracing for whatever comes next, but instead of the icy touch she expects, Lisa feels a sudden warmth. She opens her eyes to find the train flooded with light, the shadow figure dissipating like mist in the morning sun. The train emerges from the tunnel, and for a moment everything seems normal. Lisa's relief is short-lived, however. As she turns to look out the window, she catches sight of her reflection. Her own face stares back at her, but her eyes are pools of darkness, bottomless and hungry. She realizes with a sinking feeling that she hasn't escaped the shadows at all. She's become one of them. The train continues its journey through the city, carrying Lisa to an unknown destination. She wonders how many others like her are out there, trapped between worlds, forever chasing the light they can never truly reach. As the Chicago skyline passes by outside, Lisa settles into her new reality, a shadow among shadows, riding the L into an eternal night.